Welcome to Film School Friday. I'm Corey.
I'm Bill.
And together,
we host the In Focus podcast.
Film School Friday is our special weekly episode where we try to pass along just a little bit of knowledge.
Just a nugget.
Or maybe oodles of knowledge.
Oodles.
I guess it depends on the topic and your own experiences.
Yeah.
But hopefully you can take at least something away from these little Friday bonus episodes.
Yeah. So Corey, I'm more of an analog guy when it comes to planning and pre-production and even production. I like to use paper and pencils like an old man.
Blasphemy.
That's how I learned.
Blasphemy.
But to my understanding, there are a lot of great apps and new tech out there to assist in pre-production and production. And I believe you use quite a few of those.
Yeah, I'm definitely not an analog individual. Maybe it's for lighting control, pre-production. Like there are a lot of different apps that exist, to your point. There are a few that I rely on almost every shoot. The Sidus Link app from Aperture is a big one. And I'll run through all of these and maybe give some insight into each one. Artemis Pro is another one that I absolutely love. Helios Pro is very similar, same company as Artemis Pro. It's great for lighting, planning, and things like that. Tentacle Sync is another great one for time code and multicam and audio syncing, stuff like that. And then Full Control is another one that when I'm on a shoot with my Red, either the Komodo or the Gemini, I cannot live without.
So what do these apps do? Let's take Artemis Pro, for example. What would you do with that app and how would you apply that in the real world?
Yeah, so Artemis Pro does an amazing job for DPs or camera operators specifically, where within the app, you can choose your camera and your lens set specifically. And then through the app, you can actually just hold up your phone and it will emulate exactly what that crop factor of the camera, the focal length of the lenses, exactly what it would look like in camera, minus things like depth of field, because that's really difficult to emulate on a phone.
Yeah.
But you can absolutely frame up composition, field of view, all of those things. So, like for example, one of the bigger music videos I worked on recently, we shot on the Red Gemini with the Atlas Orions, and for pre-production, we did a tech scout like 2 different days at the location, and it did not make sense to like build a camera and haul all of that gear around for pre-production just to make sure framing and blocking and all of the things were right. All I needed was Artemis Pro that has my Red Gemini and my 3 Orion lenses, and I just hold up my phone and I can cycle through all 3 focal lengths of the lens set. And we knew exactly where to set up on the day. We knew exactly what the framing would look like. And it's within like inches field of view accurate. So it's super fantastic
That's awesome.
To pre-pro, like really understand camera setups and make sure you can get the angle and the view that you want with the space that you have.
It's almost like a director's viewfinder.
It is exactly
but electronic.
that. Yeah, but without having to haul lenses around.
Yeah.
100%.
Have some glass on a lanyard around your neck.
Yes.
So the Aperture one, you mentioned light control.
Yeah, so Sidus Link is probably my favorite currently for a lot of reasons. First, I use Aperture lights almost exclusively, whether it's the 120, the 300, the 600. I have a Nova, a full 12-pack of the MCs.
No big deal.
No. Weird flex, but okay. All of those things, including the older 120 with an accessory, all of those can be controlled wirelessly from my phone or from my iPad. You could do wireless DMX as well, which is a whole different episode to talk about lighting control. But, once you have all your lights set up on set, the last thing you want to do is for you, if you're like a solo shooter or even for a gaffer, if you can stand in one place and visualize the scene and make adjustments to lighting intensity, to color, any of those things, if you can do that while just staring at the setup versus go adjust the light and then go back and check it, and then go adjust another light and go back and check it, it's so much easier through Sidus Link for all of their Sidus enabled apps to just quickly make those adjustments on the fly.
That's
and then
great.
the other thing that's built into Sidus, there are actually quite a few tools. Lighting control is the big one that everybody that is familiar with the app knows that it can do.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that it can do is diagramming. So when you think about pre-production, and even if it's a super basic setup, or maybe it's the most complex lighting scenario you've ever lit in your entire professional life, you can diagram everything from talent to props, choose all of the lights that you'll have on set, and essentially create not an analog, but similar to if you were to draw out exactly what you wanted to do on the day.
So do what I do, basically.
Yes, but digitally.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
You can do all of that within the diagram master. So when you show up on set, not only are you like fully equipped to completely build out your setup and look like you know exactly what you're doing because you've put all the pre-production time and effort into thinking this through fully.
Yeah.
But through that diagram master, you also get like loadout or check sheets. So you know, based on the lighting setup that you've designed, here are all the things that you want to make sure you load out with.
Yeah.
So it's like your kind of gear checklist based on the lighting design. So it's really cool. And with one of the latest updates, they even added action animations. So you can basically preview camera movements and if you have dynamic lighting moves or talent moving through the scene, you can see all of that play back as an animation in the diagram master.
I was really impressed with the diagram. You showed me that, and I was like, wow. Like, even I might use this.
Yeah, you don't have to own any aperture lights at all to use the diagram master. But like it has area lights, it has every major manufacturer, their style of lights are in there that you can include as little icons. You can turn on light beam spread so you can emulate what the light spread will look like. You can choose the degree of the spread. If you have lights that are RGB, you can choose the color.
Yeah.
Super versatile and way better than pen and paper.
Well, I noticed it's funny because I even my shot lists are a physical piece of paper that's stapled together. Yeah. And the first shoot I worked on where you directed, you had your shot list on an iPad. So I knew you were going down this rabbit hole with the tech, and me still with all my analog stuff. If you see any pictures of me on set, I've got a piece of paper rolled up in my pocket a lot of times, and that is the shot list, which I don't keep on an iPad.
And it's totally okay.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, the other one, similar to Artemis Pro, maybe not similar in functionality, but from the same company, is Helios Pro. And I'm sure there are a lot of shooters that have used apps like Sunseeker, where you can determine where the sun will be at a certain time of day. Helios Pro is just another version of that in my opinion, has a lot more options, a lot of additional detail to help you really plan for the day. Like Sunseeker, I feel like was designed largely for still photographers at the time, but it's used by video shooters as well. Helios Pro, in my opinion, I feel like is really geared towards video versus still photography. So it's, if you're familiar with Sunseeker or something similar, it is basically just another version of that.
Nice.
But I like it in the Artemis and the Helios ecosystem.
Do these apps generally cost anything?
Yes. If it's good, it's not free. Like if it's great, it's not free.
Right.
There are definitely good options that are free. Like Sidus Link, you absolutely can get and use for free. Especially if you have aperture lights, there's no additional cost to use Sidus. Where the cost comes in is if you want
like additional.
Yeah, there are additional functionality for like sharing across multiple users. So like if I have a shoot with, and I'm going to have a gaffer on set and I want to collaborate on the setup, or if I want to store a large volume of setups or different lighting configurations, you want that.
So let's talk about full control. And if I'm understanding this right, is it FOOL as in
it is
full control?
Yes, it is full control. This app developer actually has a few different versions. There's a red control specifically for Komodo cameras. There's full control that is for the DSMC2 lineup. And I believe there's at least one other version for non-red ecosystems that the developers put together. I only shoot red, so I don't know about that one. But what full control or red control allow me to do is I can monitor, I can control all camera settings, I can view playback. Depending on what type of lens is attached to the camera, I can pull focus from my phone or my iPad.
Nice.
I generally use it to just monitor and set camera settings. If the camera is in a weird position, maybe it's in an overhead setup, or maybe it's on a Steadicam, and you don't want to mess with the physical setup, you can very quickly jump in and monitor and manage nearly everything for the cameras right through that app. So there's a free version of full control for DSMC2 shooters that really just only gives you the ability to start and stop recording and view settings. If you want like full all-in control, it is a little pricey. I think it's like $129, but it's essentially a full wireless AC camera user's dream. So like if I'm an AC on another project that is also red, I just turn on Wi-Fi of that camera and I can do everything I need to from my AC station.
Yeah.
So it's great.
That's great. I mean, even I would be down for something like that, because there's been shoots where things are a little, I'm thinking of shoots where camera moves are more difficult, or you happen to be in a position where the camera can go there, but you can't go there as the operator.
Yep.
And that type of automation and being able to monitor from afar comes in handy in situations like that. Yeah,
and you can monitor it with no additional like wireless video transmitters needed.
That's awesome.
So there is some delay for the Komodo. You wouldn't want to pull focus from that live stream. Mm-hmm. But you definitely don't have to have additional accessories attached to throw that live stream video out. So if you had a client that wanted to view while you film, you could set up an iPad and just let them watch that live feed.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then the last one, it's not really an app, so maybe this is just bonus content for anybody that's still listening.
Bonus.
It's a website called Avay, and it's avvay.com. It's perfect for location scouting and securing commercial space. And by commercial, I mean like paid shoot space. Maybe it's a studio, maybe it's a house that is available for rent. It's very different than like going through an Airbnb, which I know a lot of indie shooters do.
Yeah.
These places on Avay, they rent at an hourly rate. So that typically you want to have a little bit of a budget. You want to plan for that. But these are spaces designed and intended for you to come in and shoot a project. So if you've never heard of Avay, or if you're still guerrilla shooter, like just showing up at places and hoping everything goes well, give Avay a shot. There's a lot of cool places all over the country in major metro cities that you can rent for your next shoot.
And even my analog ass is in Avay. So I'm down with that too.
That's right. How we did. I turned you on to Avay for that teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very good. I think I'm converted. I'm slowly converting.
We'll see.
Over from analog finally.
I'll send you some download links. We'll see.
Yeah, just make sure I don't have any paper in stock at my house to write any diagrams down or anything.
All right. Awesome. Well, for our listeners, make sure you check us out on Instagram at InFocusPod or online at InFocusPodcast.com. And if you like what you heard today, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rating, 5 stars, if you feel so inclined.
Or if you don't feel inclined, still give us 5 stars.
Yeah, that would be cool too.
Yeah. Just 5 stars overall.
It would
please.
help us out a ton. And until next time,
Feed your crew,
and
which you can't do through an app. Well, maybe you could.
Uber Eats,
Uber Eats. There you go.
Grubhub,
Grubhub.
whatever you want.